Hey everyone, Romeo here, a fellow Spanish language learner. One of the reasons I can stand behind everything I say on this channel is because I've stress tested everything I talk about. And that's important because there's a lot of debate in the language learning world about what it takes to learn Spanish. People argue about comprehensible input. People argue about grammar. People argue about reading. People argue about speaking. But here's the thing. You don't have to take my word for any of this. You can stress test whether an idea works or doesn't work for yourself. And in many cases, you don't need hundreds or thousands of hours to do it. You can get a pretty clear answer in minutes. Let's start with one of the most popular ideas right now. Just watch Spanish. Just keep watching and eventually you'll speak Spanish. Okay, let's stress test that idea. Find a Spanish video that's about 10 minutes long. Watch it. Then ask yourself a simple question. How much of that Spanish can I say now? Watch it again if you want. Watch it 3 times. I don't care. Then close the video and try to say what you saw. Not understand it, not recognize it, say it. Can you? Let's test reading. Pick up a Spanish book, read for 10 minutes, then close the book. How much of that Spanish can you actually produce? Can you repeat the ideas? Can you retell what you just read? Can you say the sentences yourself? Now, let's test podcasts. Listen to 10 minutes of Spanish audio. Listen twice, listen 3 times, then turn it off. Can you say what was just said without hearing it again? Not recognize it, not understand it, produce it. When you run these experiments, something becomes obvious. Understanding Spanish and producing Spanish are not the same skill. And that's where I think a lot of language learning advice falls apart. People take activities that improve understanding and then assume those activities automatically improve speaking. Sometimes they do, but not reliably and certainly not efficiently. Because if 10 minutes of listening doesn't produce much speaking ability, then what exactly makes you think 1,000 hours of the exact same activity suddenly becomes a speaking program? That's the question nobody wants to answer. Now, before someone misunderstands me, I'm not saying listening is useless. I'm not saying reading is useless. I'm not saying comprehensible input is useless. I use all of those things myself. What I am saying is that none of those things are complete solutions. Listening helps listening. Reading helps reading. Speaking helps speaking. And if your goal is to eventually speak Spanish, then at some point you have to practice recalling and producing Spanish. There's no way around it. This is why my advice has remained the same since I started this channel. So, what do I actually tell people to do? Study a structure. For example, let's take the sentence, yo soy el hombre. You have to know what each part is. Yo is the subject pronoun, soy is the verb, el hombre is the noun phrase. Once you know what each part is, you need to know what the sentence means. You need to know how it sounds. You need to know how to change it. I am the man. I was the man. I will be the man. I want to be the man. I am going to be the man. Then you need to hear that structure in context. Read it, listen to it, say it out loud, try to recall it without looking. Then do that again and again using the right workbook exercises, the right telenovelas, watching them with the subtitles on and then with the subtitles off, and the right translation and speaking drills until the structures become automatic. That's the process. It's not magic. And it's also not just passive exposure. It's a process that you repeat thousands of times until the structures become more automatic. Then you expand from there for the rest of your life because language is a package. The structure matters, the input matters, the output matters. If you take any of those pieces away, eventually you'll find a weakness. Could I build a beginner product around a shortcut? Sure. I can tell people that they only need one thing. I can package it with a nice story. I can make it sound easy, but I don't think that's honest. Learning Spanish takes work. It takes repetition. It takes time. And it takes using the language in multiple ways until what you understand becomes something that you can automatically produce. That's why I can stand behind what I recommend. Not because I'm asking you to trust me, but because you can test it yourself today, right now. Take any language learning method, run the stress test, and ask yourself whether it moves you closer to understanding Spanish, speaking Spanish, or both. Then build your study plan around what actually works instead of what merely sounds convincing. In other words, do what works. If you want the plan that I recommend, make sure you check out my video, How to Learn Spanish and Speak It in Less Than a Year. And to see that plan in action, be sure to also check out the follow-up video, Got 1 Year to Learn Spanish? Just do this. And until the next video, good luck on your journey to building more usable, functional Spanish. Peace.